Welcome back, everybody. This is Higurashi, When They Cry. Chapter 2, Watanagashi. The chapters in this series essentially work more as like what ifs, kind of like the same story, just like a different telling of it. It's like all the stuff's the same, but it's just kind of like a little altered, I guess it might be the best way to put it. I don't know. It'll make sense as it goes through. Cotton Drifting chapter. How is your taste of life in Hinamizawa? A curse or a conspiracy? I believe you fully enjoyed everything and everyone seeming suspicious. Here at last, it is no surprise attack, but a real direct incident. Please enjoy it. The difficulty is lower than Onagakushi. Onagakushi, I think might be pronounced, but extremely vicious. Alrighty. Still got the creepy child laugh. Thanks. I will not quench your thirst, for you seek the truth, could not accept that. I will not quench your thirst, for you seek the desire, the truth you desire does not exist, but I still want to quench your thirst, for I am the one who cast you into the desert. Frederica Birkenstill. Is it a work of fiction? Good. Good. Be really creepy. It's like, ah, no, this is real. Granted, it'd probably be like those, what are they called? Quiet. Anyways, I was gonna say it's like the Paranormal Activities movies, where it's like, oh, based on a true event, but the true event is basically someone thought there was a ghost in their house. Anyways, sorry, I try to be quiet in the cutscenes. The chirping of birds serve as my alarm clock. Eh? Wasn't today Sunday? Wasn't it basically my style to stay up late on Saturday and sleep through the morning on Sunday? Why was I waking up at this disgustingly wholesome hour? Back to sleep. Back to sleep. Ugh. The real world's not worth it. Go back to sleep until it gets better. At that moment, the sound of my mother calling me from downstairs finally registered. Phone call. I sprang up out of bed abruptly and stampeded noisily down the stairs. He's awake! I'll put him on right now. My mother informed the person on the other end of the line. Shut up. What if I don't want to talk to them? Are you gonna do this to me,
もしも
Mom?
し。俺、
It's a me.
どちら様？
Don't start with that. Don't start with that.
おはよう、ケイスくん。
Hi.
お寝坊さんだね。だね。
レナ
What
か。
time is it?
こんな朝っぱらから何の用だよ。
Early in the morning. Turns out it's gonna be like 11 a.m.
朝っぱらってことはないと思うな。もうお昼だよ。
It was 11 o'clock. Hey, I called it. I guess you could loosely consider that middle of the day. It's basically the middle of the day. I mean, isn't this like a farming community? Most people probably get up at like 5 a.m. or something around here. 4 or 5 a.m. I bet.
で、なんか用か？
ちょっと待ってね。今、みーちゃんに変わるよ。
No, I definitely don't want to talk
モ
to
ー
her.
ニング、ケイちゃん。日本語で言うなら、おはよう、ケイちゃんってとこかな。
ついでに中国語とドイツ語とロシア語でも言ってみろ。
ニハオ、ケイちゃん。
Oh
グーテ
god.
ンモルゲン、ケイちゃん。ロシア語ラズビダーニャ。知るわけないでしょ。
Savadanya. Does that Savadanya mean good morning? I got no idea. I don't
まあ
speak
いいや。
that. Come on.
バカな話してたら目が覚めた。
そりゃ結構なことで。でさ、
Hey.
ケイちゃん今日暇？ケイちゃんが大丈夫なら全員揃うんだけどな。
Everybody? Did she mean all the club
So they are-
members?
まあ普段の激戦を思えば休日くらいのどかになんて思ってるかもしれないけど、
Yeah, that's not
そ
far
り
off.
ゃ甘いよケイちゃん。
Some people, don't go to work 7 days a week.
へいへい。
Hey,
あらゆ
hey.
る環境に対応して最善手を模索するのが我が部の趣旨だもんな。つまり
Fair.
休日だろうとお構いなしってわけだ。
おお、ケイちゃんも我が部のことが分かってきたね。
I'm proudly a part of this cult. Okay, I'm
で
all
さ
about it.
これさ、
Consider it. I had absolutely nothing planned that day. If I were to refuse Club President Mion's invitation, what other fun ways to pass the time would I
別に
have?
予定なんかねえし。嫌だって言ったら不先輩扱いでどんな罰ゲームを課せられるやら。
そこまで分かってるなら断れないよね。 もし OK ならいつもの待ち合わせ場所に1時集合。
This is not a choice, Mion. This is what's called an ultimatum. Very different.
街へ行くから自転車で来てね。
Bring your bike. Oh god. This is part of being a cult. You just gotta join. You gotta do everything. The only time people have problems with cults is when they get out. While you're in, it's great. Club activities in town. Well, we could do them anywhere. Besides, there was a new venue. There was no way this wasn't going to be in tent.
おとといの赤杯かなり根に持ってるからね。今日ははっきり言って負けないよ。
A couple of days ago was Friday's club activities. That uncompromising poker match. It was a fight to the death. Nobody held back. Nobody could tell who was in the lead or who was last till the points were tallied. In the end, I won by only one chip. Mion came in second. Sounds like first place a loser. Damn. Think if I hadn't squandered that one chip. Mion lamented. That's perhaps more so than the fact she lost the match. Mion doesn't lose. That's why Mion only whined when she let the champion's throne slip through her fingers. That's why she was more frustrated than anybody over a close loss. So, did she mean for today to be a grudge match? Oh boy.
上等だ。
Oh boy.
おととい同様、一気に畳んで罰ゲームさせてやるぜ。せいぜい自分がやらされても辛くない内容にしとくんだな。
Yeah, this one did terrible. That laugh was
そ
creepy.
う
Don't
こ
do
な
that.
くちゃ。潰しがいがないもんね。
After that, we exchanged jeers for a bit before hanging up the phone. Great. As I headed back upstairs, hastily to get the key to my bike, I bumped into my mother as she was carrying the food on down.
上機嫌みたいね。お出かけ？
そんなとこ。俺、みんなと街に遊びに行ってくるから。
行ってらっしゃい。車に気をつけるのよ。夕飯までには帰ってくるのよ。
へいへい、ちゃんと帰ってくるって。
Be back when I want. Don't tell me what to do. Do what I want, mother. And to lock the chain for my bike in the garage, I reveled a bit in the resistance the slightly stiff pedal gave as I pushed on it. Alright, let's go! I set off on my bike, cutting through the refreshing morning air.
遅いよ
Hello.
遅いよ
I was told last, I blame that
あ
on you.
待たせたな。あれ、佐藤とリカちゃんは？
あの二人はここで待ち合わせるより直接街で合流した方が早いよ
I see. If I remember correctly, Setsuko and Rika-chan's houses were on the other side
そうそう。
past the school.
街で部活ってどういうことだよ。まさかみんなで覆面をして日が暮れるまでにいくつ銀行が襲えるかっていうのじゃねえだろうな。
Just convenience stores. We'll save banks for tomorrow.
別にそれでもいいけど
What?
それでも私は負けないけどね
What? What defines losing here? Is it getting caught or making the most money?
みーちゃんってねなぜか現金輸送車の順路とか時間とかをいつもレナに教えてくれるんだよ
I wouldn't doubt that.
なんでだろうねなんでだろうね
What? I found out a serious look on my face and looked at Mion. It certainly seemed possible that Mion was capable of doing that.
ミオン。
レナまだ何言ってんのみーちゃんごめんねみーちゃんごめんね
The two of them joked around. That bright laughter was the best match for a beautiful day
おい、
like
二人
today.
とも。佐藤とリカちゃんが先に待ってるんだろ。じゃれてないで早く行こうぜ。
Around and around, fooling about like two fluttering butterflies. I earnestly wished I could just keep watching them like this. But the five of us never would. Five of us together would be absolutely more fun. Sorry.
そうだねじゃあ行こっか
目標は10億強奪。山分けしたら
That's a
みんな
lot.
で高飛びだぜ。
$1 billion's kind of a lot to be robbing from banks. Three of us on our bikes headed over the gently sloping hill towards town. Especially in like such a far out town, I can't imagine that most banks have that much money. Or anywhere near that much money. Accelerating hard, we crested the hill. The view expanded as Okunamaya Station came into sight. I occasionally came to the station here, considering the amount of effort it takes to get here, though it was quite a hassle. That's why I didn't know much about the area around the station, or Okunamaya itself for that matter. The street we were headed down today was, of course, unfamiliar to me as well. Going through the railway crossing, we headed past the south end
こ
of
っ
the
ち側
station,
は来るの初めてだな。
on the bad side of town.
こっちにはねゲームセンターとかおもちゃ屋さんとかがいろいろあるのみーちゃんが詳しいよ
ゲーセンもあるのか。俺前は結構通ってたからな。ゲーマーの血がうずくぜ。
ゲーセン通いなんてケイちゃん不良だね
You're quite the delinquent. She immediately just jumps like, you're skipping out on cool
今度来
age.
た時に案内してあげるよ結構台数を揃えたいい店があるから
It seemed like the town of Okunamaya was Mion's stomping grounds. If I asked her, she could tell me a lot of things about it. Eventually, we came across a store with quite a few bikes parked in front of it. Was this the arcade? No, it was a smaller shop. Looking at the window display, it seemed like your everyday toy shop. But for almost 10 kids to be filing in and out of the store, they were doing almost too
ひょ
well
っ
for
として
themselves.
あの店で今日何かイベントでもあるのか？
その通り。優勝賞金は5万円。
50,000 yen and like $500 US,
5万
maybe?
円
Maybe? I don't know. I'm not certain the conversion rate.
なんだよそれ。ケイチ王国の5年分の GNP に匹敵するぞ。
Two cute figures messing about the front of the store noticed us and waved their hands.
皆様方、お待ちしてましたよ。おはようございますなのです。
おはようリカちゃん。さあとこ、警察が来る前にケリをつけるぞ。目標は10億強奪だ。
ケイチさんの話がわかりません
Yeah,
わ。
she's kind of out of the loop on that. It's like, we're gonna finish before the cops show up. Like, I'm gonna beat you down. Haha.
遅くなったかな。リカちゃんたちは今来たの？今日は早く終わったのでだいぶ待ってましたですよ。
そりゃあ悪いことしたわ。こっちはケイちゃんがなかなか来なくてさ。
ケイチでは仕方ありませんですよ。
I'm immediately being blamed for everything. Saying that, Rika-chan stretched up and began patting Mion's head. Wait a minute. Are you solving everything by making me the bad guy?
もちろん。ケイチさんでなくては務まらない大役でしたよ。
Scapegoat.
実に嫌な大役だな。こんなので丸く収まると思ったら大間違いだぞ。
I was feeling slightly irritated, so I began to repeatedly smack Satoko on the head. Smack, 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 smack.
ケイチさんがぶったケイチにいじめられてかわいそうかわいそうですよ。
Immediately
さ
throw
と
him
こ
under
ちゃん
the
泣い
bus.
てる泣いてる。お持ち帰り。悪い人はレナお姉ちゃんがやっつけてあげるからね。
Bad guy. What? Rita ecstatically wiped the tears, which were probably fake, from Setoko's face, while Rika-chan gently patted mine as I lay sprawled on the ground. Yeah, this is fine.
やっぱりこれが正しい丸い収め方だよな。
前歯が欠ける前に新しいオチを探した方がいいと思うけどね。
I get a punchline? Well, then, upsy daisy. In any case, the greeting for today went well. Yeah, she about died. Inside the toy shop, there was about 10 boys around the same age as me. Apparently, they all knew Mion. Finding out that she had arrived, they greeted her with jeers, a few at a time.
みーちゃんはこのおもちゃ屋さんの常連なの。だから友達もすっごく多いの。
おもちゃ屋の常連って何なんだ？
I wish she gets the board games for the club.
ほらケイチさん、奥をご覧なさいませ。
Following Setoko's prompting, I took a look. There were chairs lined up at tables, almost like some sort of birthday party. I realized it immediately.
まさかこれって部活の会場なのか？
驚いたかいケイちゃん。私この店のおじさんと仲良しでね。
You know him?
たまに客寄せイベントってことでゲーム大会を開かせてもらってるんだよ。
Wait, so you're hosting the game tournament? This 50,000 yen your money? Expand his customer base, I see. Meaning all the boys livening up the place were participants.
そうなの。いつもは5人だけど、今日はもっともっと大勢での部活なんだよ。
Reno was innocently happy about being able to play with so many people, but my expression grew noticeably stern.
ケイイチさんの考えてること手に取るように分かりましたよ。
What are you
ほ
thinking?
う。じゃあ試しに行ってみようか。言うぞ。せーの。
These are all enemies. Satika's voice and mind blended together in harmony. He looked over at the participants. After all, the top prize was 50,000 yen. My eyes lit up like a flame. I'm looking up how much 50,000 yen is in US dollars.
ね、ケイちゃん。
Hi.
今日は楽しめそうでしょ。
まあな。ライバルが何人増えようが狙うものに変わりはないさ。
454 US dollars. 455. It's 81 cents, but yeah, 455. Granted, this is also back in 1986, so there's no telling what it would have been then.
ライバル？
Rivals? Rivals?
ケイちゃん。クジラが水を飲むとき、今飲んだ水の中に何匹シラスが混じっていたか、いちいち数えてると思う？
Wow, that's a little cold-hearted, even by your standards. Then an unpleasant voice laughing with an aggressive glint in her eyes, reserved solely for club members. Damn it, Mion. She's as serious as she can get
本気な
today.
のは私だけじゃないよ。ほら、リカちゃんを見てごらんよ。
I mean, there's 50,000 yen on the line. Yeah, it's something worth being pretty serious about, especially at like, what are they, like 13, 14 here? It's a lot of money at that age. Mion pointed, looking at where her finger directed me.
なんだありゃ。
Ricochet was using those kinds of traits to salvage the group with an utmost excessive pleasantness.
僕も頑張るのですよ。ファイト、王なのです。
Completely emasculated, the group joined Rika-chan in a cheer. The inside of the store had been consumed by the world of Rika-chan. Damn it. She already chopping at the bit.
今日は楽しくなりそうだね。頑張るよ。はう
Ow! It seemed that Rena was also unusually fired up by the large crowd. Hopping about and running around, she had entered entirely into cute mode. In Rena's case, the real fun starts when her tension gauge fills up. Her happy-go-lucky attitude belied the fact that she was the state in which she was the most threatening. Mion was making small talk with some of the regular customers she was acquainted with. It was like business as usual with her. She knows what's going down. Of course, if anybody thought that Mion looked ordinary, they were not qualified to be in our club. The shadow beneath her feet was exuding killer instinct, rising up like a chilling wind.
ミオンめ、恥も外分も捨てるくらいに本気だな。
ケイチさん知らないんですの？賞金の5万円、ミオンさんの自腹でしたよ。
How'd she have 50,000 yen? What? She was putting out the 50,000 yen all by herself? That moment of dark miasma that warped Mion's surroundings began to appear. That's pretty creepy given the fact that you know about Oyashiro-sama? What was that thing's name for the first one?
何？ケイちゃん。
You're terrifying.
私の顔に何かついてる？
Yeah, it's been warped. Ugh, shiver ran up my spine. That Mion cornering herself like that. She was playing at the demon lurking within her. Fine with me. Damn it, my knees are shaking like crazy. Before I realized, the store had filled up with even more people. However, the looks in their eyes weren't confrontational. They were looks of expectation and curiosity. They're the eyes of onlookers who were wondering what kind of match was going to occur and what was going to win.
最高の舞台じゃねえか。面白くなってきやがったぜ。
I don't know. I think it would largely depend on the game you're going to play.
ケイチくん、頑張ろうね。
You look like you're about to have a meltdown.
頑張ろうね。は
Rena was already fully charged. Mortal laws and common sense held no power before the might of Rena in her cute mode. I definitely didn't want to fight her if possible. Oh, I wish her fist fight. She's got a cult going.
はい頑張りますですよ
Rika-chan, who was exuding way too much charm, no matter how you looked at it, had already won over most of the onlookers at her side. Nonchalantly avoiding things had always been Rika-chan's creed, but for her to be so blatantly laying out her machinations like this, something was definitely strange. Like Rena, she was somebody who I didn't want to fight if I could help it.
もちろん一番戦いたくないのはミオンさんですけどね
何度か部活で奴と視線をくぐったが、今日ほどヤバいと思う日はないぜ。
ミオンさん一昨日のポーカーで負けたの相当根に持ってるみたいでしたよ
Yeah, she probably definitely not one you want to fight for this one, for this tournament.
らしいな。つまり今日はミオンの復讐のための特設部隊ってわけだ。
We'll see. Almost as though she were psychic, Mion turned towards us. Her eyes silently conveyed the message. You guys just figured that out now? Which is Mion, both Rena and Rika-chan were more pumped up than they'd ever been. Yeah. Maybe she wants to humiliate him by making him lose, or having him lose to the randoms versus losing to the club. Losing to the club sucks, but losing to basically people who... Even Mion was basically saying earlier that they're not on par with club members. You know. That would definitely be more humiliating. I'm gonna pop up today. Without a doubt, there'll be casualties.
私とケイチさんがなんとなく置いてきぼりですわねいかがでございましょうなんでしたらスマートに初戦をお手合わせ願えませんかしら
そうしよっか。俺もエンジンがかかるまで鳴らしをし。
My spinal column shuddered like it had been struck by a bolt of lightning, and like a pillar of ice was being jammed into it, began to freeze. I could almost see the flames backlighting Satoko with her intensity. Even then, while Satoko was displaying a normal smile, it was cold and inhuman, almost as if it were a plastic mask.
そんなに俺を初戦で消したいかよ。殺気が隠せてないぜ。
Killer.
あら残念ですわねケイチさんにしてはなかなか慎重でしたよ
Hey, these models over here kind of creep me out. They look like they're 3D versus everything else is 2D. Not a doubt, it was a trap. I don't know what she had up her sleeve, but if I fought with Satoko during the opening round, my loss would be more certain than if it were against Mion. I think everybody's going to pull out all the stops for this. A pitch black miasma permeated the inside of the store. Did they all want to win the 50,000 yen prize that much? No, that's not right. The other ones competed for the prize money with the casual participants. I was different. I had mistaken this as just a way to fool around on a normal Sunday. It didn't matter when it was, or where it was, or who our opponents were. In our club, the goal is always at the very top of the mountain. An intense flame that no strong winds could extinguish, hot enough to melt any steel, began to burn inside me. The fuse had been lit on the unprecedentedly intense club battle. It was then that the owner of the store told me on a lackadaisical voice that it was about time to begin.
みんないいかな慶長慶長
Mia began with the formalities, standing in for the owner and explained the rules of today's tournament. You're only playing to win. There is no second or third place. That's the same rule as our club. There were 15 people participating. We were to split up into 5 groups via a draw, and each group would have one winner. Each winner in the first stage would advance to the next in order to compete in the final.
さて各卓の競技方法なんだけどこれは各卓で好きに決めていいよこのお店にあるゲームなら何を使っても OK
Sounds like it'd be tough because everybody would want to play a game that's to their liking, that they think that they're good at, but then no one could really decide. Arnie Club Mode DEFCON 1. I didn't let the small gap in the rules
ミ
go
オン
unnoticed.
質問いいか。みんな自分の得意ゲームを主張して決まらないんじゃねえのか。
はお、そうだね。決まらないと始められないね。
Spectators also nodded along. It was only natural. There wasn't anyone who would simply cede to their opponent's suggestion.
紳士的に決めてほしいけど、そういう時は店のマスターが決めるってのでいい？
It's fair. It was an event at the toy store after all. You'd expect the owner to referee. After that, Mion's rundown continued. It ended with a rule that any losing participants would have to buy the game they lost at a rather nice proposition for the store. That's not bad. Not a bad deal in the store. First, we used to draw to split into 5 groups. Everybody lined up single file to get to draw tickets that the shop owner had prepared. It was my turn. Alright, time to draw. No matter who I was up against, I'd crush them. At that moment, Mion began to laugh with a hawkish gleam in her eye.
当然わかってると思うけど、部活メンバーには一般参加者とは別に罰ゲームがつくからね。
That's terrifying.
そんなことだろうと思ったぜ。内容はなんだ。
勝者が敗者一人一人に1個命令。
That could be really bad. Contrary to how simple it sounded, it was a terrifying eventuality, the subject of which no one could predict. Damn you, Mion. Was she really planning on parading me around Hinamizawa in cat ears and banana hammock with a tail attached or something? The look on Mion's face told me she wasn't going to let me off that easy. If she did that, you would wind up on a registered sex offenders list. On top of that, this time it wasn't just the person who finished last who'd have to submit to the
敗
penalty
者
game.
一人一人に命令。つまりビリでなくても罰ゲームってことだな。
Ooh, so only the winner is exempt. Interesting.
そういうこと。
勝者がない場合は部活メンバーが全員途中で脱落したらお流れか。
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
ケイちゃん、脳みそは元気？
何？
Look at Mion's eye became that of a lion baring its fangs.
我が部の再生映がどう間違ったらこんなひよこども相手に負けるっての？
Yo, they're right there. They can probably still hear you.
ケイちゃん、初戦で消えて私に恥かかさないでよ。
So I didn't feel threatened. The more into my opponent was, the stronger I'd become.
ただミオンにいじめられてたわけじゃないってことを見せてやるぜ。
会おうね。決勝で。
Those to draw were enough to make you cry. Conspiracy. All the members of the club were nicely divvied up amongst the 5 tables. Yeah, I'd call that a conspiracy. The thought that I was already caught in Mion's puppet strings made me feel uneasy. That was fine enough, though. I'll crush all you petty tricks. Sound so confident. Can't wait till this backfires. You lose round 1. Now, where were my opponents? Everybody was headed to the table corresponding to the number on their ticket. The little kid just hit him in the face. Immediately get physically violent. The competition at my table was these 2, huh? They looked younger than me.
あれ、お前ら学校のクラスメイトだよな。
Yeah, I recognize you guys.
あ、どうも。富田です。
Tomita,
彼は岡村です。
Okamura, something. God dang it. It played and I didn't even catch the names. I'm so terrible with names anyway, so I don't think that would have helped me. Okamura-kun greeted me by nodding his head. So my opening round was to be against my juniors from the school? That's fair. I mean, sounds like anybody was free to sign up. Lucky. Time to destroy them without mercy.
それぞれに対戦ゲームを決めて始めてちょうだい。
With Mion's declaration, inside of the store suddenly became lively. Everybody was yelling their favorite games at each other, trying to gain an advantage before they started. Even my two classmates, taciturn at first glance, began to fiercely insist on their own games as soon as the signal was given. Of course, it kicked those suggestions aside. I'm sure they do the same to you, so it's not like it really helps. There's absolutely no reason to pick a game your opponent is good at.
どれも知らないゲームなんだ。
Yeah, that's kind of the problem, ain't it? Is they don't want you to have a game you're good at, and you don't want them to have a game you're good at, or they're good at. So,
もっと知名度の高いやつにしてくれ。
yeah, you gotta find like a neutral ground, or just pick a different game, or have the store owner pick. Of course, they didn't agree to the games I suggested either. I can only smirk bitterly. Naturally, after 5 minutes, the table still couldn't agree on a game. Obeying the rules, we asked the store owner to decide on a game. Clearing his throat, the shop owner brought over a board game from the back of the store. It was a game called Billionaire. You know, it'd be really messed up if the store owner brought over like the most expensive game he had. Here you go, this board game cost $500. And the losers have to buy it. Quite the vintage we have here. Come to think of it, you lose, you have to buy this game. The damn shop owner uses competition to get rid of all the games he couldn't sell. That's another way to do
こ
it,
れ
I
なら
guess.
俺も知ってるよ。2人も知ってるよな。ルーレットを回してゴールを目指す。最後に生産して一番お金を持ってるやつが勝ちだ。
Isn't that called Life? Like the American version? I don't remember. The two nodded in agreement and finally the game was underway. At that time, I already had a feeling of impending crisis. I wouldn't realize why until the game progressed a bit.
1、2、3、4。
It sounds like a game that's based on luck. I wouldn't know any strategies you could use for something like this. If it's spin the wheel, hopefully you land on something good, basically.
出産祝いをもらう。
Hey,
全員から
congratulations.
5000ドルもらう。
Hey,
悪いね。
it's 10,000, right? It's 5,000 from the other players. Okay, I built a bit of a lead. 10,000 is not a bad start point.
2、3、4、5、6、7、8と。ボーナス。
Hey,
銀行から10万ドルもらう。
hell of a bonus! $100,000 bonus? What? The table was returned in an instant.
1、2、3。
Blew you 10,000 out of the water.
出世コースに進む。
Corporate ladder course? Dang. It's a good route. It seemed that only my piece was landing on a steady basis. I had doubts as to why Mion didn't bring out board games for club activities, but the reason was laid bare before my eyes. That's right. Yeah, some of them can be largely based on just luck. I only realized it now. This game was completely based on luck. What could I possibly do to make sure I ended up in first place at the end? The ultimate outcome of this game was decided in a place beyond human hands. How were the other club members doing? My eyes naturally wandered off to the other tables. Mion's table was what? They weren't doing anything. Had they still not decided on a game? Then this naive idea existed to distract me from the most frightening possibility. Mion was lounging about leisurely holding some juice she bought from the vending machine on one hand. When our eyes met, she gave me a look of ease. It couldn't be. She already finished. What game was it? That easily? Probably too late to be concerned with at this point. Only 5 minutes since we started, and her two opponents were already beyond recourse. They were sitting there, slumped over in disappointment, muttering to themselves, trying to figure out where they went wrong. For that, they'd find no answer. Was there any reason for this defeat, other than they sat at the table, same table as Mion? Probably some underhanded strategy. And what about Rena's table? Spectators were causing quite a commotion. It looked like their game was Karuta. I don't know what that is. The shop owner was apparently the one reading out the cards. Rena tended to dawdle along and space out a lot. Wouldn't she have a hard time with this
じゃあ
game?
読みますよ。犬も歩けばくたびれる。
Bam. Same instant the shop owner began sounding out the words, the card in question disappeared off the face of the table. No, the face of the earth. Possible. Where did it go? It was against Rena's cheek. She was rubbing it there. Look at the card. Rena was rubbing against her cheek. It was some anime-themed version of Kuruta, with rather cute moe illustrations decorating the cards. Basically, it was a picture of a pretty dog girl with a slightly large chest panting and half in tears as she was being pulled along on a chain. What the hell? You got... Why do you just have this? Of all people to play that game, it had to be Rena. It was entirely possible that her fingertips were on the verge of breaking the sound barrier.
決まったね。
Mion smiled coolly, seeing no further reason to keep watching. She turned back.
かわいいレナ、勝ってもこのカルタちゃんと買うよお持ち帰りはう
And then the second card started being read out. Bam, bam. Such decisive sounds echoed. Well then, how about Satoko? Now she's playing a rather orthodox game. Concentration. Judged with distressed look at Satoko's face, it seemed like she was struggling somehow. One of the main characteristics of concentration is the pace of the game speeds up as it goes on. As the number of cards in memory decreases, it becomes easier to match several pairs in a row. It wouldn't be an exaggeration if the first person to take over the flow of the match can run away as the winner. Cards in the play had decreased. If you memorize the cards that had been turned over before, you should have a good chance to be able at this point. Satoko probably knew the positions of all the remaining cards. However, her turn came a little too late. If her opponent followed up, the match would be decided.
悪いけど、僕も優勝賞金を狙ってるんだ。悪く思うなよ。
Hey, win's a win, man. Don't hold back. Sky, did he have the locations of the remaining cards memorized? He was completely certain of his victory. The tension on his face relaxed.
決まったな。
I said that in a bored manner as I turned my attention back to my own game. I spun the wheel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
そんな。確かにここはハートのエース。
There was commotion at Satoko's table as the shout rang out. The other two at my table turned around to see. I didn't. After all, there really wasn't anything to be surprised about. The onlookers were confused. Most of them certain the Ace of Hearts should have been there. There's no way. I must be seeing things. I must have been because I was excited. So assured in his victory, the stress over his defeat ran deep. That's how it is. The opponent wasn't Satoko when the Ace of Hearts certainly would have been there. What a fool. When you're up against Satoko, you can't let your guard down for a moment until the battle is over.
あら、ケイチさんの勝負はまだつきませんの
Yeah, board games take a while. I guess she flipped a couple cards when no one was looking or
セ
something.
ンスないですわね
Because I mean, she's got nothing she can put up her sleeves, right? The refined tone of voice reserved for only winners Satoko called out to me. For the casual observer, it must have looked like she only eked out a victory. From my point of view, however, she was only playing around. The roles of winner and loser had already been decided. It was nothing more than child's play. The laughable part about it was that her opponent didn't know his role had already
や
been
るじゃない
decided.
か。ハートのエースなんておしゃれな罠をかけやがって。
相手を仕留める罠はほんのちょっぴり
One of them.
それも1個で十分ですのよ
Satoko was a trapper. Her true talent was not having one misfire. Setting off only one trap was more than enough. Ain't that cool. Ain't that cool. Having to play a board game. It's like based on luck. The fact the other club members were winning one after another with their own brand of play only added to my impatience and my own lack of progress. Alright, how's Rika-chan doing? How was our club's sly little fox doing? What the heck is that? Over in the corner of the mood at the table is decidedly different from the others. I love the music changes. The club at Rika-chan's table, or the game at Rika-chan's table, was, you know, the battery-powered fishing game. The one where the fish open and close their mouths as they rotate on the platform and use a magnetic fishing rod to pick them out. That old thing. It seemed they planned on competing by seeing who could catch the most fish, but it became an atmosphere you could hardly call competitive.
わあ釣れましたですよ
うまいうまい。リカちゃんうまいよ。
That doesn't sound like a man. It says that it's a man, but that does not sound like a man.
おっとっと
また釣られちゃったよ。
You could probably go with boy rather than man.
リカちゃんはうまいな。
I heard that Rika-chan had already charmed her opponents, along with the onlookers before the match had even begun, but brilliantly played. The court had become an informal meeting of the Rika Furade fan club.
リカちゃんの圧勝だよ。
Now all you gotta do is start a cult.
圧勝だよ。リカちゃん、お魚釣りうまいんだね。
リカちゃんが釣ってるのは多分魚じゃないと思うな。
Hearing that, she glanced over my way briefly. This is my way of getting serious. That's what I heard.
リカにしかできないリカだから許される大技ですわね。
Yeah, masterful technique.
前原さんの番ですよ。
ああ、すまん。俺の番か。
Sorry.
1、2、脱税の追徴課税。
Tax evasion.
5万ドル支払う。
50,000. How much in taxes were you avoiding? You got paid 50,000. In contrast, my game. What an unseemly situation this was. Noticing the uneasiness creeping across my face, my companions came to see how I was doing. I want to talk
あ
about
れ
it.
ケイチ君、ひょっとして苦戦かな。
Well, KG, it'd be interesting what happens if he loses in the first round, like before he even faces the club, because I imagine the punishment would be even more severe. Like, does that mean everybody gets to tell him to do one thing, except for just the winner of the tournament? Like, every other club member gets to tell him to do one thing? Maybe we'll find out next time. That's going to be the end of this part. As always, I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, all the fun stuff, and I'll see you next time. Oh, bye-bye.